Today on the Ayden Jackson Show, we'll be discussing RFK Jr., Russia, Ukraine, and Elon Musk. All of that and much more, so stay tuned. Broadcasting from my studio, my name is Ayden, and this is the Ayden Jackson Show. If you're new here, I'm a country singer/songwriter, and on this podcast, I discuss world news and country music news. If that sounds like a show you like, please subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on. Let's dive into a hot topic that's been stirring up quite a debate: the recent confirmation of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. as head of the Department of Health and Human Services. Now, you might be wondering, why is this a good thing? Let's unpack this. First off, RFK Jr.'s appointment comes at a time when we're facing what many call a chronic disease epidemic in the United States. We're talking about conditions like ADHD, sleep disorders, autoimmune conditions, type 2 diabetes, and a dramatic rise in autism rates. Kennedy has been vocal about this issue, linking the surge in chronic diseases to change in our health policies, and particularly around food and vaccines. Now, I know vaccines are a touchy subject. The conversation around vaccines and autism has been fraught with controversy, but Kennedy's stance is to bring transparency and science back into the discussion. He's not anti-vaccine, he's pro-safety. His argument has always been about ensuring the data on vaccine safety is accessible and scrutinized by independent experts. What's compelling about RFK Jr.'s confirmation is his promise to address these health crises head-on. Posts on X have been showing a lot of support for his investigation into the potential links between vaccines and autism, highlighting the frustration many parents feel about the current state of pediatric healthcare. The chronic disease rates have climbed from affecting 12% of children in 1989 to 54% today. That's a staggering increase, and it begs for a thorough investigation into why. Kennedy's approach could lead to a reevaluation of how we handle public health policies, especially in areas where there's a perceived gap between science and policy. His commitment to looking at the data, including the impact of the vaccine schedule introduced in 1989, could potentially shed light on whether there have been unintended consequences on children's health. Moreover, this push for a vaccine injury reporting system could be a game changer. It would provide a structured way for parents and doctors to report adverse events, ensuring that any potential risks are not just acknowledged, but studied and addressed. He also wants to change the food system in America and the way it currently operates. Food seems to be a big cause of chronic disease in America. I really hope he does this, and I think this is a good thing. In essence, having RFK Jr. is at the helm of the HHS might just be the catalyst needed to break through the noise, to find common ground, and to genuinely work towards reducing the burden of chronic illness in our children. Whether you agree with him or not, his confirmation promises a shakeup in how we approach health policy, and that in itself could be a step towards better health outcomes for all. Let's dive into some big news on the international stage. Donald Trump's recent talks with Vladimir Putin and Vladimir Zelensky aimed at ending the war in Ukraine. This conversation has sparked a lot of interest, especially given Trump's history and his promise to end the conflict swiftly. So what do we know so far? Trump has spoken directly with both Putin and Zelensky, marking a significant shift in U.S. policy by engaging directly with the key figures in this conflict. According to recent reports, Trump is keen on ending the war, emphasizing that people are dying every day and this war is very bad. He's expressed a desire to see a fair deal for everybody, suggesting that both Putin and Zelensky want peace. Now, let's talk specifics about Trump's terms for ending the war. He's made it clear that his views NATO membership for Ukraine as impractical at this stage, and he's indicated that the return of Russian-occupied territories to Ukraine is illusionary. These statements align with what Putin has demanded, which includes Ukraine relinquishing its NATO ambitions and recognizing the territories that Russia currently holds. There's also buzz on X about Trump potentially meeting with Putin in Saudi Arabia, which might serve as a neutral ground for negotiations. Trump has suggested that we would use his personal relationships with both leaders to push for a ceasefire and subsequent peace talks. However, the exact details of what concessions each side would need to make are still under wraps. Trump's administration seems to be taking a more coercive diplomatic stance, hinting at using sanctions or tariff threats against Russia if they don't come to the table. On the Ukraine side, Trump's team has floated the idea of leveraging U.S. military aid to encourage Kyiv to negotiate. I really hope the war ends, and I'm confident that Trump will follow through with his promise. Hey listeners, Ayden here. If you've ever dreamed of turning your passion into a business, Shopify is your go-to platform. With easy setup, stunning templates, and powerful marketing tools, you can sell anything, anywhere. Start your journey today by heading over to aydenjackson.com/Shopify. That's aydenjackson.com/Shopify. Let's make your entrepreneurial dreams a reality with Shopify. We've got some surprising news from the world of tech and politics. Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, and conservative influencer Ashley St. Clair have reportedly welcomed a baby together. Now, this has quickly become one of the most talked about stories on social media. Ashley St. Clair, knowing her for her far-right affiliations and her work as a columnist and author, announced on X, formerly Twitter, that she had secretly given birth to Musk's child 5 months ago. This revelation has stirred up a whirlwind of discussions online, with posts on X ranging from congratulations to disbeliefs. St. Clair added media pressure as the reason for going public, mentioning that tabloids were about to break the story themselves. What makes this even more intriguing is what this would be Musk's 13th child with 4 different women. Musk, however, has not publicly acknowledged this claim. Instead, he's been posting about unrelated topics, leaving many to speculate about the truth of St. Clair's announcement. Despite this, St. Clair has been vocal about wanting Musk to acknowledge their child and finalize an agreement on co-parenting. The story has layers, including St. Clair's past controversies and Musk's growing family, which has often been a point of public fascination. This has led to a flurry of debates on social media platforms about personal privacy, public figures, and the ethics of sharing such personal news. St. Clair, who has been described by sources as stepping back from the public eye to focus on her children, made this announcement after a purported leak aiming to take control of the narrative surrounding her personal life. Meanwhile, Musk's silence on the matter has only fueled more speculation and conversation about his personal life versus his public persona. That is going to be it for this episode of The Ayden Jackson Show. My name is Ayden, and this has been The Ayden Jackson Show.